Rockford's home for classic rocks, 96.7 The Eagle. Good morning, I'm Double T. Special guest joining me, musician, singer, songwriter, Grammy Award winner, played with the Ides of March, Survivor, 38 Special, and many others, Jim Peterik. Jim, how you doing today?
Double T, I'm doing well.
And you're a Illinois, Chicago area guy, right?
Born and bred in Berwyn, Illinois. All the Ides of March from Berwyn. We're the Berwyn Beatles. At least that's what they say in Berwyn. But now I'm in Burr Ridge, and I've been there for 33 years, and we love this area.
So you never wanted to go to California or anything like that?
You know, I spent so much time there, especially with Survivor when I was a member of that band. Did so much recording there. It just wasn't me. I mean, it's a great recording scene, but I never cozied up to the whole vibe out there. And Chicago is where my heart's at, and I love it.
Yeah, there's something special about musicians from the Midwest, isn't there?
Yeah, we're a little corny. We're not so hip. We're a little square to the rest of the country, and that's the way we like it. You have a famous person from Rockford, my good friend Cheap Trick, Rick Nielsen. We talk about all the time the Midwest and how much we love it here. And
it's great guys like you and Rick have stayed in the area and still support what's going on here.
Well, we can't move all those guitars anywhere. How are you going to get 300 guitars to California?
And talking about Illinois, you guys recently were announced you're getting into the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That was a real honor. We were on the first ballot along with Cheap Trick and REO and Chicago. Not bad company. I don't mean the band Bad Company. They're not from Illinois. Screw them. Anyway, but yeah, we were supposed to have the big ceremony last Sunday, and something happened. There's this crazy virus going around. So that's going to be pushed over to August or September.
I'm talking to Jim Peterik. You've got a new song that you put out called Empty Arena. What made you write this song?
A couple weeks ago, right when this thing really started taking off, meaning the COVID, Black Crowes were on the television. I was watching it. It was really moving because here's a great band that I love playing to an empty theater. And you realize we do it not for money. We don't do it for the fame. We do it for the people. And when the people aren't there, you find a way to get to them. And then you see, all these different stars broadcasted from their bedrooms. It really moved me, and I wrote down a couple of lines in my notebook. What if the team scored a touchdown and nobody cheered? What if the band played their big encore with no one around to hear? The words just came out of my pen and to my piano, and I recorded the song Empty Arena, and then I held a concert in my son's studio called the Jam Lab in Brookfield, Illinois, and we streamed it, and we took donations for MusiCares, which is the Grammy Foundation's great nonprofit fund for retired musicians, and now, of course, the victims of being out of work. It's not so much for the rich rock stars, it's for the struggling bands and the new bands who make their living at the clubs, and we raised $5,000 that night. We're pretty proud of that.
I'm talking to Jim Peterik, and it is an awkward moment when they're done with the song and there isn't any response.
In the first line of the chorus, this is the sound of one hand clapping in the empty arena. You get used to that. And when we did the streaming concert, there was nobody in the Jam Lab, and I was just looking. My son was to my side. He was like the host. And I was communicating with him and the fellow that was taping the show. But I'm used to the girls in the second row, and there's something missing without them. And the guys, of course, too. But you know what I'm saying.
Jim Peterik, the song is called Empty Arena. If people want to find it,
it's youtube.com/Jim Peterik Rocks, facebook.com official Jim Peterik. But really, it's going to be as of Friday on iTunes and Apple and Amazon and available for downloads. And we're tithing some money over to MusiCares.
Talking to Jim Peterik, musician, singer, songwriter, Grammy Award winner. Check out his new song, Empty Arena. It's Rockford's home for classic rock, 96.7 The Eagle. Rockford's home for classic rocks, 96.7 The Eagle. Good morning, I'm Double T. Special guest. I'm talking to Jim Peterik, musician, singer. He's got a new song out now called Empty Arena. And this has really made me wonder, and I'm hoping that there's some sort of renaissance. You got all these musicians sitting at home with extra time. They're not on the road, so they can write new music. Do you think people will be able to appreciate it more and go back to supporting bands and their music again?
I hope so. I think it will have that effect. But another effect it's going to have is once people are let loose to fill the arenas arenas and the theaters and the clubs, they're going to appreciate it so much more. I mean, you're going to get standing ovations from the first number because people want the music. They want to interact with each other and feel that chemistry when people get together.
I'm talking to Jim Peterik. When you write a song, do you prefer or enjoy the part of writing it and the process of creating it, or do you prefer the part of taking the final product and presenting it to the fans?
Well, Double T, I will say this, that it really works hand in hand for me. You know, I'm not one of these guys that can sit in a cubicle like they did at the Brill Building or in Nashville and just crank them out. I can't do it. You know, I need to stand on stage with the Ides of March or, you know, one of my solo shows and get that audience feedback. You know, that lights me up. And I see what they like, what they don't like, what they're reacting to. And then I go to my piano and I write. And it feeds that.
I'm talking to Jim Peterik, musician, singer. He's got a new song out now called Empty Arena. When you go to write, because you've written with a bunch of different bands and musicians, do you do it the same way every time, or do you adjust it to the situation?
I call myself musical tofu. I take on the flavor of what's around me. It is different every time. When I was writing with Don Barnes and Jeff Carlisi, we had this wonderful string of hits with 38 Special. I learned how to work with them, you know, and I learned how to lay back and let those Southern boys do their thing, and I didn't want to crowd them. Other times I have to take the mantle and really push. It all depends. I wrote with Sammy Hagar, and we were stoked by some amazing coffee that he ground up on his way to the Sausalito house that he lived in. We wrote heavy metal in 2.5 hours, and then we started on tequila, so it's always different.
Do the good ones always come out really fast?
You know, the best ones seem to. You catch lightning in a bottle. It's like Eye of the Tiger. Frankie and I wrote that in a day and a half. And if it's going to happen, if it's meant to be, it usually happens pretty quick.
You brought up Eye of the Tiger. Did you ever have any idea where that was going and what it would mean to people still to this day?
Not a clue. Not a clue. Let me tell you, we wrote that for Rocky III. We knew it was going to be a big hit. It had the movie, it had a $50 million video to go along with it. So that wasn't a surprise. Number one for 7 weeks on Billboard. Suddenly we're on the road nonstop with REO Speedwagon and Bryan Adams. But I thought this was going to be over in 3 years and it would be forgotten. But every generation seems to discover it again. And, you know, in this COVID-19 thing, I hear it all the time. People are using it to get through the hard times. And that's like the biggest gift I could get as a songwriter.
What else you got going on this year?
The Ides of March had 30 dates postponed to August, September, and October. Check out theidesofmarch.com because we've got a lot of shows coming up. And a lot of the shows that were supposed to be happening this month, they're gone. I'm promoting this Empty Arena. I've got a lyric video that you can see on youtube.com/Jim Peterik Rocks. And Facebook.com/official Jim Peterik. If you want to know what's going on in my world, I'm still writing. Dennis DeYoung and I just finished his new album, and that's coming out in May. I'm thrilled for him. He lives literally 2 blocks away from me in Burr Ridge. And I'll walk over there with my guitar case, knock on his door, and say, Dennis, let's try this song. So it's pretty cool. I'm really lucky.
Jim Peterik, thank you so much for taking the time. I've always enjoyed your music, and it was great talking to you.
Thanks, Double T. Keep rocking. God bless. Hope everything goes great.
Talking to Jim Peterik, musician, singer, songwriter, Grammy Award winner. Check out his new song, Empty Arena. It's Rockford's home for classic rock, 96.7 The Eagle.